Hi friends, today I'd like to talk about the new map for Apex Legends Season 7, Olympus. It's officially been confirmed Olympus will be the new map for Apex Legends Season 7, so I thought we could take a look at everything we know about Olympus. Let's start by looking at how it's described on the Apex Legends website for Season 7. Ascend to a beautiful lush city in the clouds. Just watch your step, as it's a long way down to the planets below. So evidently this is a city map and we can expect it to be pretty much a full city urban based approach to combat. Now we know Olympus in itself is a floating city, so that kind of makes sense. And if you've played Hyperscape and you know the map for Hyperscape, it's pretty much 100% an urban area. So I imagine Olympus will be quite similar to that. In Hyperscape there are very few open areas and there isn't much groundlands like we have in King's Canyon or World's Edge. So that would definitely bring a very different meta to how people play Olympus. However, what we know about Horizon is that her meta is kind of about vertical maneuverability. And where you've got a map like Olympus with potentially lots of buildings, lots of high rises, condensed space, it actually makes sense that you've got a map and a legend meta that potentially work quite well together. Let me also talk about the teasers that we've seen in King's Canyon and World's Edge, because we've had these kind of floating clues off the edge of the maps for King's Canyon and World's Edge. And if they look familiar, well, it's because you've probably seen them before. You just might not know where. So let me take you back and show you a few clues of where you've seen this mysterious teaser floating off the edge of King's Canyon and World's Edge, because essentially they're linked strongly to Olympus. So if we think back to the Revenant trailer a while ago, in the background here, you can actually see the same floating device, which is very interesting, because we know Revenant is on Olympus. And even if we think about the recent Horizon cinematic, we can again see the same floating device in the background. So evidently, this same floating device, or whatever it is on Olympus. And in fact, it seems there are multiple of these around Olympus. So this leads us on to think about what could this thing actually be. I have two theories. One, it could be a gravity lift. We know Olympus is a floating city above the ground of Psanthe, so it could well be this is a gravity lift where people get from the planet up to Olympus, the floating city. That's one possibility. The other theory I have is that it could actually be the gravity-powered device that keeps Olympus floating above the planet. So it could be that these things are actually gravity machines that help Olympus float above the planet, and that's why we see multiple of them around Olympus. So anyway, these are just two theories with some guesses around what they could be, but feel free to let me know in the comments down below what you think they might be. Let's also look at some images and videos of Olympus. We can see again in the background of the Revenant trailer what Olympus potentially looked like a while ago. Again, as you can see, it's a built-up city area with many districts. Think London or New York. A condensed city area, but there are lots of districts, which makes it potentially quite a big map. We can again see artwork of Olympus in the background, again showing lots of high-rise buildings, a condensed city area. However, we've also seen in the recent Horizon cinematic Olympus being partly destroyed, so it might well be that we do have open areas in Olympus where you've kind of got destroyed buildings, or perhaps Hammond Robotic works going on extracting or powering Olympus. So it could be quite interesting to see how this city area comes together. Some of the shots we've seen of Olympus are perhaps historic shots where it's a really nice built up area compared to what Horizon's come back to in the current day, where potentially it's been a little bit more destroyed and we've got some open areas because of that. So I think it could be quite a nice mix of built up areas and perhaps a more open space where buildings have been destroyed. It does seem that Olympus will be a fairly large map, and they do say that it's a big place, and because of that they've introduced a new vehicle called the Trident. Now, it's not clear how the Trident will work yet, and from what we can see it's going to be kind of like a hover vehicle which hovers slightly above the ground but will allow you to get around the map a bit quicker. Because of this, I do think we potentially won't have jump towers or geysers like we have in the current maps, which help you get around the map quicker. I think potentially the Trident will be the way that we get around the map. I'm not sure if we'll have full control of the Trident like an actual vehicle, You know, kind of like we have in Warzone, for example, where you can hop in a vehicle and just drive around. It's possible, but I'm not quite sure. We haven't seen any evidence yet. The other option is that it could just be like the train we have in World's Edge, or had in World's Edge I should say, and it's just an automatically moving device or vehicle that you can hop in as a squad. However, I do feel like it could be just a normal vehicle that we can ride around, because that's kind of what the rumours have been about. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. For sure, I think it could be something quite fun that is introduced to Apex Legends. Let's see how it turns out. One thing you can be certain about is the upcoming trailers this week for Season 7 will definitely show us more about how the Trident will be used, so keep a lookout for those. And that's kind of everything we know about Olympus so far. It's a floating city with lots of built up areas, but potentially some areas that have been destroyed. It's being powered by Baranthium apparently, potentially, and we know IMC and lots of rich people live on Olympus, and that potentially gives us more scope to see some of the backstory of legends from Olympus, like Octane and Lifeline. But I'm planning on doing a separate video for lore that we can expect to see in Apex Legends Season 7, and I'll try and cover off some of these legend backstories that relate to Olympus in that video. I'm super hyped for Season 7 though, and I hope you are. Keep a lookout for the trailers coming over the next week, and we'll definitely learn more for sure. By the way, did you know I stream every Saturday at around 7 PM UK time? Most of these I'll actually be playing with anyone that wants to play with me, so you can actually join in with me and we can play some Apex Legends together. So come join me for my next stream on Saturday. I look forward to seeing you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.